Tour de Fleece is an event where spinners across the globe spin yarn in concurrence with the Tour de France. I hope you'll join me in my adventure with the Tour de Fleece as I try to spin through as much of my fiber stash as possible. Good morning, sweetheart. Made it through another night. We had some rain yesterday, now it's heating up, so the result is fog. Oh, there's the guinea hens. But it's almost 6 a.m. so back inside and back to work or start work. Have a good day, folks. Most of the day on Sunday was spent figuring out the yardage on all of the things that I had spun during the tour, so I thought I'd share with you my process. First, I set up a finished skein on my umbrella Swift, and then I put the yarn through a meter reader to measure how many meters are on the yarn, and then that gets put on my tabletop Swift, and I re-skein the skein on to the tabletop Swift. Once it's transferred to the tabletop Swift, I then tie the skein back together and I loosen it and count the wraps per inch using a wraps per inch gauge. By loosening it on the Swift, it makes it a little bit easier to count the strands, and that way I know that the yarn isn't under tension and I can get an accurate wraps per inch. I record the wraps per inch and the total meters on the card and use the high-tech method of conversion from meters to yards, my Apple Watch, and voila! There is my yardage and wraps per inch for that skein. I'll attach it to the skein so that I know how much is there when I go to make my next project. At a later date, I will add the fiber content, where I purchased the fiber to spin it, my drafting method, all of the other spinning details so that I have a record of it on the card. I did not get the multicolored bamboo top spun, but I did get the single spun for the silver blue and the kind of true blue fiber. So I do have two of the bamboo done. It was easy to do, spin from the fold. I just have to ply those. I did get the rainbow cheviot and the two natural cheviot yarns plied. I just have to get the natural yarns dyed. Hello, it is July 25th. It is the day after the last day of the Tour de France, Tour de Fleece, and we have results. First, the race. Got some information because I'm not good at keeping figures in my head, so I'll be glancing down at figures. But congratulations to Jonas Vingegaard, who took the overall yellow jersey, which is considered the winner of the Tour de France. He finished with a time of 79 hours, 33 minutes, and 20 seconds. And Wout van Aert took the green points jersey, which I think we all knew by the last few stages that was going to be his. He has earned the nickname Incredible Hulk because he just is in green all the time. And he had a total of 480 points. Jonas Vingegaard took the mountain climber jersey with 72 points. Tadej Pogačar kept the youth jersey, the white jersey. The team winner was Ineos Grandiata, I think. I'm terrible at pronouncing things. And Wout van Aert took the combative jersey, or the combative number, for the most attacks, the most aggressive in the race. So it was a fabulous race. I had so much fun. I will admit I had to watch replays. Weekends are really tough for me to get, 4 hours in front of a television set. But I did watch the replays, and wow, just amazing. I am just absolutely impressed by the competitiveness, but also the camaraderie between teams and between a team and between teams. There was one point where Jonas Vingegaard's team rode together in front of the peloton in a moment of camaraderie, and it was really, really cool just to see them all kind of arm in arm and really proud of their achievement, which they absolutely should be. So just well done. It's a very, very interesting and fun and exciting and entertaining race to watch. So also yesterday began the first stage of the Tour de Femme de Swift, which is the women's Tour de France, which is a little bit different. They do have a lot of the same kind of jersey awards and the same kind of stage winners and jersey wearers and things like that the Tour de Fleece does. But the first stage is actually kind of a circuit. There's different laps around the road course. It's not from point A to point B like it was for the Tour de France. So that was a little interesting to watch that. How amazing to see the ladies on their bikes in the peloton ride past the Arc de Triomphe. They took off from the Eiffel Tower. Like, it was really, really cool. And congratulations to both stage 1 and stage 2 winner Marianne Vos. Just absolutely attacked at the end, the tail end of stage 1. It was really kind of close neck and neck there for a while, but she did manage to cross the line first. And then in the second stage, she was pretty much all by herself and just phenomenal. And it's so amazing to see this race back again. I have not been able to spin as much for the first few days of the women's tour, but I plan to do things a little differently for the women's tour. I'm going to finish up some of my spins from the Tour de France, and also do some of the dyeing of the natural fibers that I had meant to do before the Tour de France finished. So I'll do similar videos. I may not be able to do them every single day, but kind of like the Tour de France, where I kind of pepper them in here and there when I can get one finished. So the results of my spinning for the Tour de Fleece 2022. I have the final tally here, and I have all of the yarns. So before I reveal what I finished, let's talk about what I didn't finish. So the bamboo fiber that I was hoping to get finished, I managed to get 2 of them done. The 2 smaller bits of fiber. This is the silvery blue one. I managed to get that spun into a very fine single, and the true blue sort of bamboo fiber. I did do these as a spin from the fold, because it is such a slick fiber. It definitely works better as a spin from the fold fiber. It's more grippy than the silk is that I've spun before like this, but I definitely would have had trouble if I had tried to spin it directly from the top. So spinning from the fold, in my opinion, is the way to go with the bamboo. What I also did not get finished was the big pile of bamboo that is the multicolored top. So this will be something that I'll try to get done. It's a lot more, it's 2 of the smaller batches of bamboo, so it's probably going to take me a couple of days to do, but I do plan on getting that done. The other thing I did not get done is I did not get my Cheviot fiber dyed. So this was the fiber that I dyed as fiber and then spun, and didn't it turn out cool? It is really, really neat. It was so fun to watch these colors come together. I was afraid it might be a little muddy, but it really turned out pretty cool. The colors, you can really see the different colors. I just love it. I haven't washed it and thwacked it or measured it yet, but it turned out so neat. So I'm going to dye this yarn using the same colors, but this will be, I'm thinking this is going to have more of a stripy effect when I knit with it, because I'm going to be actually dyeing the yarn in the same sort of color pooling pattern that I did this, but I'm not going to have the fiber stringing out. It's actually going to be on the yarn. So I think that's what's going to happen. I'm going to dye this with this in the same dye pot in the same way, but this one I am then going to I'll do a video on this, but I'm going to tie it off to create some negative space and then over dye it in black, so when I remove those ties, some of that color will pop through. So that's the plan with those, and hopefully I'll be able to do those very soon. Okay, I have held you on long enough. Let's go through the results. So first, let's talk about these. So this is a neon, it was like a striped, I'll put a picture of the fiber in here. It was a neon multicolored top. And this skein, I spun from the fold and then plied it on itself. So you get a lot of different color combinations there. And because I spun it from the fold, there was a lot of like repeats, like you got a long stretch of pink, that it was so neat to see the colors as they added to each other. So this was really fun. This one, I actually took some of the color sections apart and then spun them and then applied that on itself. So this one you get a little more, I think it's most prevalent right here. You get a little more like longer color repeats in it because I pulled specific color sections out of the top and spun long sections of those colors. So again, I'm really interested to see how these spin. They're the same but different, if that makes any sense. I'm really interested to see how these knit up. So I'll be doing some swatches, probably doing some swatches for the Tour de Femme as well, because I want to do something just a little bit different than exactly what I did for the Tour de France. So stay tuned for that. Oh, I didn't tell you wraps per inch and all the things. Sorry. The skein that is the spin from the fold came out at 10 wraps per inch, 235.1 meters, and 257.11 yards. So that is what the from the fold fiber came out to. The one that I did the stripping of colors came out at 10 wraps per inch and 232 meters or 253.72 yards. So these are perfect. They both came out at 10 wraps per inch, so they're going to be perfect to do hats. I want to do some winter hats for Dylan and to compare how they both knit up. So that's going to be fun. And then I spun some merino fiber in this kind of a periwinkle colorway and this multicolored top. And these are intended to be a entrelac clutch. And these came out at 10 wraps per, this one came out at 10 wraps per inch. This one came out at 11 wraps per inch. Still considered worsted weight, so I believe they're still going to work well together. And the entrelac clutch is felted, so if one is a little bit, 1 wrap per inch more than the other, it's not going to make a big difference in the knitting. The lighter colored came out at 154.5 meters or 168.85 yards, and the multicolored is 146.2 meters or 159.89 yards. This is the merino with the neps, and then, so this is the merino with neps called Cherry Blossom. And that came out at 13 wraps per inch, 136.9 meters or 149.72 yards. And then this is the Tea and Crumpets. So this is the one that had merino and silk and bamboo and stellina and all the things. And this was 11 wraps per inch, 139 meters, 152.01 yards. And then this is these two plied together. So that's how that came out. And that came out at 13 wraps per inch, 140.2 meters, 153.32 yards. So these two are 13 and this one came out at 11. I'm not sure how this is going to work for the Odyssey shawl by Joji Locatelli, but I think I'm going to gauge swatch and just hope for the best, and hopefully it will still work out for a gorgeous Odyssey shawl. Final tally is 1,183.9 meters or 1,293.62 yards. Not bad. Not as much as I've done in the past, but I feel like I got a lot more out of the tour and the racing, and I spun intentionally. I wasn't just spinning fiber to spin fiber, which is what I've done in the past, and I've been trying to have a goal in mind of spinning with intention, knitting with intention, purchasing yarn with intention, and so all of my yarn has something that it's going to be made into, with the exception of the cheviot, because that was really a color dyeing experiment. So that is my Tour de Fleece and Tour de France. I hope you enjoyed the journey with me, and I hope you will join me for the coming week. The Tour de Femme de Swift ends on the 31st, and so I'm going to try to do something, a little spinning, a little knitting. Yeah, and it'll be fun. I hope you'll join me. Thanks for watching. Take care.